Good evening, everyone. Apopka High School welcomes you to Joe Sterling Gymnasium for Game 11 of the 2023 Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. It's the event that puts the reputation of the Orlando Metro Conference on the line against some of the best talent from our neighboring counties and private schools in the Central Florida area. Today we welcome as our guests, wearing the blue jerseys, visitors on the scoreboard from Windermere Prep School. They are the Lakers. And wearing the white jerseys, home on the scoreboard, representing the Orlando Metro Conference from Oak Ridge High School, please welcome the Pioneers. Let's meet the teams, beginning with our guests from Windermere Prep and starting at shooting guard with 6'5", sophomore, number 1, Brandon Bass Jr. At shooting guard, 6'4", junior, number 2, Jordan Ford. At point guard, 6'2", freshman, number 3, Gustavo Roca. At point guard, 6'2", junior, number 23, Samuel Shoptaw. And finally for the Lakers at center, 7' sophomore, number 32, Senan Juan. The head coach of the Lakers in his 6th year at the helm of Windermere Prep, Mr. Brian Hoff. And now let's meet the Oak Ridge Pioneers. Starting at guard, 6'6", 5-star junior, number 1, Jameer Jones. At point guard, 6'4", junior, number 2, Jalen Reese. At wing, 6'5", 3-star senior and Virginia Tech commit, number 3, Tyler Johnson. At wing, 6'6", senior and UCF commit, number 11, Cameron Simpson. And finally for the Pioneers, at power forward, 6'8", senior, number 21, Amari Davis. The head coach of the Pioneers in his 7th year at the helm of Oak Ridge, Mr. Steve Reese. The officials for tonight's game are from the Central Florida Officials Association here in Orlando. And for those of you here in the arena, we remind you that tonight's game is being live streamed on YouTube and the NFHS network. If you have friends and family back on the other side of Orlando, back in Windermere or anywhere in the world, and they were not able to join us in person for tonight's game, just send them to our YouTube channel, Metro VSFL. You can find that on the YouTube app on your favorite computer, smart TV, or mobile device. And we want to expend a special welcome to those of you who have done just that. My name is Mark Barchi. I'm the media director of the Metro versus Florida Challenge. Sitting next to me is Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief, and we are ready to take you through, Neil, what might be the most anticipated game of the entire event.
Yes, once again, Mark, a great job on the pregame festivities, getting the announcements, and introducing everyone to the starting lineup. And as you said, I like to call it the glimmer and glitz game of this 2023 Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge.
Tyler Johnson is called on his first personal foul, the team's first.
So two schools about as tradition-rich as a school can be. 2014 Class 7A state champion Oak Ridge. Last year they were a state semifinalist, 19-10 record. As you mentioned, Steve Reese has been their coach now for 7 seasons. We go to the other side. Windermere Prep as Hewen opens up the scoring.
Sinan 1-1. Foul is called against Pioneers number 21. Amari Davis is first, team second.
So under Brian Hoff, last year 24-8 record. They were a state championship finalist, losing to Riviera Class 3A. And of course, these are two schools just in general.
No strangers to Lakeland.
Yeah. In general, if you follow high school basketball, you're familiar with them. And you go to these two schools because the expectation are long runs into the postseason.
Nice pass, and there it is. Thank you very much, Amari Davis from Tyler Johnson.
Oak Ridge 6-3 in this event. Windermere Prep 4-4. And you look at both these rosters, of course, they are loaded with potential college standouts. And
I think this is the first time, Neil, I have ever seen a roster with not one, not two, not three, but 4 players rated 3 stars and up by ESPN, which, I mean, 3 stars and up, you're almost certain you're going to get a D1 maybe offer. As we get a stolen layup for Jalen Reese. So, of course, what's really remarkable is that of those 4 players, 2 of them are juniors. They're not even seniors. That's why you don't see a college commitment next to their name, because it's not even time for them to make that decision yet.
Yeah, and then, of course, you have Cameron Simpson, the UCF signee, now a Power 5 team. And the other 3, the other 4 that Mark mentioned, Jameer Jones, Jalen Reese, Tyler Johnson, and Jordan Tillery. And this roster is so loaded that Jordan Tillery isn't even a starter. You go over to Windermere Prep, they have Brandon Bass Jr., he is top 36, and 3 of the recruiting prospects list as well. And that guy, Hewen, I guarantee you in the next year when he becomes a junior, he will be on the 3 or 4 list too as well.
Held ball, possession Pioneers.
And I remember Hewen from last season, a freshman starting for Windermere Prep. Freshmen don't start very often, maybe 5% of the time for just an ordinary average school, let alone a private school with the history as Windermere Prep. In and out, rattles in and out. And last touched by, I believe it was Windermere Prep. Nope, last touched by Oak Ridge. So we're off and running. And the 11th game, what I like to call the Glimmer and Glitz game. And certainly when the schedule came out, when Coach Williams released it, this was the event that got circled first on everyone's calendar. The steal from number 3, Johnson. He's off to the races, one-on-one, beautiful pass, blocked by Hewen. And you can hear the crowd reaction, about 500 people in Joe A. Sterling Gymnasium.
Checking into the game for the Lakers, number 4, Malachi Martis.
And again, as I said, Hewen, he's not on any list because he's a sophomore, but he certainly will be as he continues to improve and progress. And there you see him making me look really good again. Didn't get much of a hand on that, but just enough to break up what was an alley-oop. At the other end, going bank.
Basket by Samuel Shoptaw.
So we are not just off and running, but we are off running, living up to that Glimmer and Glitz prophetic preview. 5-4.
Stepped out. Lakers ball. So that's the kind of mistake that you're not used to seeing from Oak Ridge. Now, in fairness, Windermere Prep helped them to make that mistake.
Yeah, and Oak Ridge isn't normally playing Windermere Prep. Again, state finals from last year, Class 3A.
This is actually the first time in recent memory that we have not had any state champions participating in Metro vs. Florida. We do have 3 state runners-up, and this is one of them.
Yeah, we have a number of state Final Fours, too, including Oak Ridge. Jones was a state Final Four.
Foul called against Pioneers, number 21. Amari Davis is second, the team's third. So keep an eye on that. 2 fouls is a little much for the first 3.5 minutes. Now coming in for the tray, it is off the mark, but look at the height on that rebound from Juan. 7 feet tall and using every inch of it. Can't get the second chance to go either, but managed to make Amari Davis touch it last, so the Lakers remain in control.
Yeah, and you know what makes Hewen look so good out there? He has the height, that's one thing, but he knows how to use that height. He just saw that
double team trap,
rebound.
And it almost works. They're either going to get a held ball or a timeout, depending on which happened first, and the ruling is timeout. They are going to say that Windermere Prep maintained possession long enough to call the timeout, so the Lakers request their first timeout of the game. 30-second timeout requested by Windermere Prep. We'll take this opportunity to recognize some of our partners who helped make the Metro vs. Florida Challenge possible, including our presenting sponsor, Advent Health, with 8 Central Florida hospitals named as the best in the Orlando area for 13 years in a row. At Advent Health, we care for you mind, body, and spirit while you get back to doing what you love with those you love. Visit www.besthospitalinorlando.com to get started on your journey to wellness.
Back to live action, 5-4 lead for Windermere Prep. They maintain possession of the ball. They are in their traditional blue jerseys with the white number, taking on Oak Ridge in their white jerseys with the yellow numbers and black trim. And again, this is the glamour and glitz of game of the 2023 Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. Has not disappointed so far. Swish from Shaptaw.
3 for Samuel Shaptaw. 5 points for him total tonight as we dip under 4 minutes here in the first period.
8-4 lead. So, want to just bring up one more thing here, Mark. A couple of years ago, we had Dr. Phillips in Lake Highland Prep as S&O Dice. Jameer Jones unable to get it, and there's a surprise. That's being sarcastic. Ewan pulling the rebound down. Dr. Phillips, Lake Highland Prep, that was the glamour and glitz game. They did not disappoint, and I really feel that this is the equivalent. A couple years later, get the feeling this game's going to come down to the last 10, 12 seconds. On the move and going bank, Jalen Reese, a nice soft touch.
Tyler Johnson adds 2 for the Pioneers.
Attacking that lane. Looked good, but even better was the deflection. That was Brandon Bass. Couldn't really see who got a hand. Tried to go 1-on-3. Long range, drain the range.
Jalen Reese from downtown.
9-8, Oak Ridge back in the lead.
He clearly plans to play in the NBA because that would have been a 3 in the NBA. And there is another 3
Martis.
answered by Malachi Martis.
So we saw some great inside play to begin this game. Now the teams are showing off their outside lethalness. Another beyond the arc. This will not drop. And Ewan rips that rebound down. Got a tip from Roca. Back the other way we go. And a foul. That was Lee bringing the ball down.
Foul's called against number 3, Tyler Johnson, his second, the team's 4th. And we'll pause here for some personnel changes. We'll take these personnel changes to remind you, if you have not been following the rule changes to high school basketball this year, the NFHS decided to follow the FIBA rules and as well as the NCAA women's rules, which is now that the penalty, or the bonus shots if you prefer, are triggered on the 5th foul of the quarter rather than on the 7th or 10th foul of the half. And it also does away with 1-on-1 bonus. It's only 2-shot bonus. So that effectively means that Windermere Prep is in the bonus, double bonus if you prefer, for the rest of the quarter. But that will all reset for the second quarter. We'll go back to zeros. That's also similar to what you see in the NBA. However, the NFHS has not adopted the eclectic rules that the NBA has added on top of the FIBA rules about fouls in the last 2 minutes or throw-in fouls. So that's not part of the equation, but otherwise the same as NBA. So, foul called against number 1, Brandon Bass Jr., his first, team's first.
So again, got a packed house at Joe A. Sterling Gymnasium on the Popka High School campus. Not quite full capacity, about 90%, and certainly they are adding to the intensity of the atmosphere. Down into the corner, that's Reese. Too hot, over, doesn't catch rim, and it will be Windermere Prep possession. I'm Neil Fisher, the other voice here is Mark Barchi, also public address announcer for this event. 13th event. If you're new to it, it's based on the ACC versus Big Ten Challenge. 22 Metro Conference teams, all located in Orange County, all public high schools. A member in every game takes on
Pioneer ball.
Takes on a non-member, aka the Florida contingency. We add up who wins the most at the end of the event. 26 games, 4 days, 2 locations. We were at Lake Highland Prep yesterday, and taking that pass is the big man.
Checking into the game for the Pioneers, number 0, Torrance Moore. And to your point, Neil, what's interesting to note about really both of these teams is, yeah, they've got some talent loaded among their seniors, but they've got some significant underclassmen talent as well. We are paused here for an official timeout. I believe they are looking at getting a towel for the floor. Come as a great surprise to no one that some of these guys are working up a sweat. And as I started to mention a moment ago, besides the sizable force of senior talent on these teams, Torrance Moore, who just checked in as a freshman. You've got Maddox Harden on the Pioneer roster as also a direct-to-varsity freshman. You've got a couple of sophomores as well. There's Tim Winkler on the Pioneer roster, a varsity sophomore. And so it is a lot of underclassmen filling out these ranks, and that's good news for a couple of reasons. First of all, it gives you some bench depth this season. Second of all, when all these seniors graduate at the end of the year, it means you're going to have some continuity of people who've actually had varsity minutes. And Neil, you and I have been doing this long enough to know that graduation is a beast that a lot of coaches have to contend with year after year.
Yeah, it's even more than at the college level, of course. College, you get 5, maybe even 6 if you're lucky years. At the high school level, it's 4, that's it. And then most of the time, I'd say maybe not even 5% of freshmen get to be on the varsity team. So you're looking at three seasons. Just a note, we did have a stoppage, or at least a stoppage began with Tim Winkler. I'm not sure exactly what or how, but he was bleeding on the face, so he had to come out, get that taken care of. We're now getting some TLC down at the paint, on the paint to the right of your paint if you're looking down over the court.
Yeah, that's
an 11-9 lead for Windermere Prep, 1:30 first quarter.
Yeah, that is the bloodborne pathogen protocol, that whenever a player bleeds on the court and blood has fallen on the court, that they have to get out there with the athletic training team and use their chemicals that will neutralize any pathogens as part of the cleanup process. So, not exactly a government-level biohazard spill, but still the right thing to do to make sure that our players stay safe. So we just have to allow the time that the trainers need to do that effectively.
Yeah, we don't have to send in the Hawaii 5-0 team. Yes, I did bring that up. Big fan of the show. And they have probably a dozen episodes involving, as you said, biohazard chemical. Of course, I hope you think I'm funny because, well, we got a break of a lengthier time here, so trying to add some levity and some humor to our comments. But nonetheless, that is the situation. So we've seen a great game so far, 4 lead changes. And as I mentioned, this is the Glamour Blitz game of the 2023 Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. And certainly through the first 6.5 minutes has lived up to the expectations. Again, 4 lead changes. And it's stars everywhere you look. And just when you think there aren't any more stars, there's 2 or 3 more. So a 7-2 lead for the Florida contingency. Your winners so far this year, 8-2. So the winners so far.
Again, we appreciate your patience as we have had to engage our bloodborne pathogen protocol, as we had one of the players not seriously injured, but did bleed a bit on the court. So we appreciate our training team taking care of that and rendering the court safe for our players to return to action in just a moment.
So your winners so far this year: Mount Dora Christian Academy, Vieira, Mainland, Lake Highland Prep, Bishop Moore, Mount Dora. Those games were played yesterday at Lake Highland Prep. One of the stoppages during Coach Earl Graham's career. And then today, Attapaka, Joe A. Sterling Gymnasium, Masters Academy, Lake Brantley, Seminole, and Orlando Christian Prep. Olympia defeating Lake Brantley. And that's how we have come to the 8-2 lead being held by the Florida contingency. Again, if you are just joining us, this event is the brainchild of Scott Williams. He was at Wekiva at the time, has since moved to Apopka, took the event with him. It's based on the Atlantic Coast Conference versus Big Ten Challenge. It's about conference pride, showcasing the quality of play. We not only can go with anybody, but we are better here in Central Florida. So all the schools located in Orange County, it's public high schools, are a member of the Metro Conference. And it's not like college where you get an invite and there's a vote and you got conference realignment. It's very simple. School opens its door, begins operations. It's automatically a member of the Metro Conference. And in each of the games, one of those members will take on a non-member, a.k.a. the Florida contingency. And at the end of the event, we add up which side wins the most games. 26 in total, over 40 teams, and 2 locations. As I mentioned, Coach Earl Graham, who this event is now named after, he did coach at Lake Highland Prep for a part of his career. And if you're wondering who Coach Graham is, of course, if you do follow high school basketball, you probably have at least heard the name. He coached for over 50 years, was an assistant. His last 15 years he spent as the right-hand man of Coach Williams, first at Wekiva and then Apopka High School. And unfortunately, he passed away January of 2021 due to COVID. Was one of the victims during the pandemic. And obviously, Coach, if you get a chance to talk to Coach Williams, you don't have to be a psychiatrist to know just they were very close. Coach Williams' relationship with Coach Graham went far beyond the business of basketball. It was very personal. It was very much a trust relationship. But really, there are many, many other people who could say the same of their relationship with Coach Graham. So that's why we honor Earl Graham. And, of course, at the end of each game, we have the Earl Graham Most Valuable Player Award to dish out. We're getting ready to go back to live action again. Windermere Prep, the 11-9 lead, 1:30 first quarter. This is the glamour and glitz event, pomp and circumstance, and has lived up to that reputation. 6.5 minutes in, the Stars have come out to play.
All right, we are officially back underway after an extended timeout there, official timeout. We appreciate your patience. And it looks like these players did not get stiff at all during that break.
Interception by Jones, looked like a defensive back, jumping the route. Reese unable to drop the tray, and possession will remain with Oak Ridge. So one thing about these two teams is they're very balanced. I haven't really seen one team take more two-pointers or three-pointers than the other. Inbound, back to work Oak Ridge goes, trailing by a deuce. That's Jordan Tillery. Again, listed in three top 57 prospect ratings, and not in the starting lineup.
Fouls called against Lakers number 23, Samuel Shoptaw, his first. The team's second. Checking into the game for him is Gustavo Roca.
1:06 remaining, first quarter. Again, Oak Ridge, the 2014 state champion. They come off a state Final Four appearance, although they've made multiple appearances at Lakeland. If you're new to high school basketball, Lakeland is where we play the state Final Four. Short, Reese gets his own rebound, tips it in, and goes bang.
Second chance basket by Jalen Reese.
So there you see the athleticism.
All tied up at 11, and so far, apart from the extended disruption for the bloodborne pathogen protocol, this game has delivered everything it promised in terms of action and intensity.
Down low to Bass, who turns around, ball knocked out. 30 seconds even remaining. Bass calling out the play. They go all the way to the top of the key, actually almost half court. That is Roca. One-on-one, hands it back to Bass, and that will not count as there was a foul before the pass.
Team control foul is called against number 3, Gustavo Roca, his first, the team's third.
And that explains how Roca was able to get the ball. Last opportunity, last word if Oak Ridge so desires.
Double team trap, and they force him to travel.
So Coach Hoff decides to go with the pressure, the half-court trap, and best possible start, getting that turnover on the first possession. I saw all 3 coaches jump up off the bench and trying to help out the refs. They made the traveling signal. 12.8 seconds left, so just as quickly. Well, another exchange of possession and another turnover. So I was going to say.
Yeah, outthought the room there. He didn't. It wasn't that much of an emergency. He still had 12 seconds to work with.
Yeah,
he was playing like there were only 2 seconds left on the clock.
So we've had 4 turnovers. Each time you're thinking the team with possession will have the last opportunity, and no one's going to score, and it actually grew to 5 as Oak Ridge got that interception.
Yeah, again, they were playing like there were only 2 seconds left when they actually had about 8. But in any case, that takes us to the end of the first quarter, and we are no closer to crowning a victor than we were 8 minutes ago. 11-11, all ones on the scoreboard at the end of 8 minutes here in Game 11 of the Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. We'd like to thank our corporate partners who helped to make the Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge possible, including Elevate Orlando, a civic nonprofit focused on helping students grow in strength of character and application of essential life skills. Elevate's skills are taught in the classroom, modeled through mentoring, and incorporated into everything they do so students can apply them to their lives. Through a partnership with OCPS, Elevate's curriculum is offered as an accredited elective course. And their teacher mentors are able to spend more than half their time outside the school mentoring students. With more than 1,500 participants, 14 partner schools, a 98% graduation rate, and 96% post-secondary placement. Check out all they have to offer at elevateorlando.com.
So once again, the pomp and circumstances has been living up to 11-all, Windermere Prep in Oak Ridge. This is the 2023 Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. And another turnover.
Keep in mind the fouls reset to 0. That's new this year.
Hewen getting his body in the way and grabbing that rebound. Off the turnover. And
backcourt violation.
So we started off the game, the first 4 minutes. It was solid offense. Both teams executing well, getting some good looks. A good balance between the three-pointers and two-pointers. And the last 4 minutes or so, the defense have been ratcheted up. And we've seen about 8 turnovers now in the last 4 minutes.
Slipping and falling, the 3 is short. Bounces into the waiting arms of Reese, and he doesn't have his jumper either, but now a third chance for the Pioneers to connect and get their first points of the quarter, and now cash that check. That's Jalen Reese to Calvin Liptrot for 3.
7th lead change of the ball game. And now another turnover, 2 consecutive for Winter Park.
Liptrot again, that one's off the heel, and this one comes bound to Jameer Jones. So the offensive rebounding, certainly these last couple of minutes have been hounding, but, well, we've lost a shoe. And it caused him to step out. That was Calvin Liptrot when he took that pass. So he was unshod and stepped out to do it. So again, the rule in NFHS basketball is that you cannot step out of bounds and then come back in and then be the next player to touch the ball. So That'll cost a turnover to the Pioneers.
Meanwhile, Chaptaw brings the ball up underneath. Can't get the first attempt. Does Windex work strong. Shoulder to the basket and draws the foul.
Foul's called against Pioneers, number 5, Calvin Liptrot, his first, the team's first of this half. That will send Samuel Chaptaw to the line, shooting 2.
So, Mark, not only has this game lived up to the pomp and circumstances, the glamour and glitz in terms of the play back and forth, but we've had a couple of unusual incidences.
Yeah, and honestly, nobody at the score table even saw what happened that led to whatever open wound caused the bloodborne pathogen protocol to kick into play. It's one of those things that sometimes you don't actually notice when the injury occurs. You just notice 30 seconds later that, there's blood all over the court. Wonder how that happened.
Yeah, Tim Winkler was the player who took the shot. He has not been in since then.
Foul called against number 2, Jordan Ford, his first, team's first.
The drive from the baseline, getting the own rebound. Liptrop, obviously he's got his shoe back on. And
he draws the foul going up.
So another couple of offensive rebounds.
Foul called against number 32, Sinan Juan. That's his first personal foul, the team's second, and it sends Torrance Moore to the line. Excuse me, that was Moore, not Liptak, who ultimately got fouled going back up.
So again, Windermere Prep state runner-up, losing to Rivera in the championship game last season. Class 3A, Oak Ridge, the 2014 state champion. They made it to the state Final Four last year. And a 8-2 lead for the Florida contingency. A 15-13 lead for Oak Ridge. 8th lead change of this ball game. Driving through the lane, and that's offensive goaltending.
Offensive basket interference is called against Juan. No basket.
And that's really a shame.
Yeah, because that was going in.
Yeah, Huon getting his anxiousness and his taking the initiative, getting the better of him in that case. The spin, and off that right side, Huon ripping another rebound down. So I'd say Huon has at least 8 rebounds now. Again, only a sophomore as we reach 5:45.
Of course, keep in mind that Juan is probably one of only a couple of guys out there who actually is tall enough to goaltend. As we get a 3 from Jordan Ford, passed by Samuel Chaptaw.
9th lead change, 16-15, Windermere Prep. Oak Ridge back to work. 5.5, third quarter. The drive through the lane, contact as Jameer Jones tried to go with the over-the-shoulder move.
Foul called against number 2, Jordan Ford, his second, the team's third of the period. That will send the Pioneers back to the free throw line. Jameer Jones shooting 2.
So again, about 500 fans in attendance. We thank all of them for coming out. We also thank you who's tuned in to us. We hope you enjoy our broadcast as much as we enjoy bringing the broadcast to you. We also wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and wishes that you get to enjoy a home-cooked meal tomorrow with your family and friends. I'm Neil Fisher. The other voice is Mark Barchi. He's also the public address announcer as both free throws go down and a 10th lead change between these two state powerhouses. Windermere Prep in the blue, possession. Oak Ridge getting the 2 free throws in white on defense. Back out to the corner, Chaptaw, splash!
3 for Samuel Chaptaw. 10 points for him tonight, so he's an early front runner for the MVP award if the Lakers should prevail. And here's another front runner, Jameer Jones.
So we keep seeing the lead change. If you like lead changes, you came to the right game. Picked up the loose ball. Bass drives to the lane and makes the withdrawal. Taking advantage of the loose ball, and Oak Ridge being out of position for that. Trey does not drop. Chaptaw bringing it up. Bass, and the pressure gets to him. The travel. 22-20 lead for Windermere Prep, 4.5, third quarter.
Apologies, the scoreboard at the bottom got discombobulated there for a second, but we've got it synced back up, and that is accurate now.
So Choctaw, your leading scorer among both teams, 13 points, as Mark mentioned. And now Oak Ridge with a chance to tie or take the lead back. Driving through the lane, lowering the shoulder, kissing the glass. Jones.
Jameer Jones adds 2 more.
And we are tied once again at 22-all. 4 minutes, second quarter. Off the heel. Sky for the rebound, Johnson, but a whistle first. Mentioned we have about 500 fans in attendance.
Fouls called against Pioneers. Number 3, Tyler Johnson, his third, the team's second of the half, or the period, I should say.
I look to my left and I see media row, coaches row, whatever you want to call it. That is full as well. From the free throw line, Bass too hard, and picking up that loose ball off the rebound. Simpson, the UCF signee, stop, go, back out to the top. Another drive on that right side. This one, Johnson commencing, and he draws the foul.
Foul called against Lakers number 1, Brandon Bass Jr. That's a second personal foul, the team's 4th. So again, that is the last freebie of the half. We now invoke the 2-shot bonus rule at 5 fouls in the quarter, which they will hit on their next one. Rebound and a potential fast break opportunity. Here it comes, and it's not there, but the foul is. Foul called against number 11, Cameron Simpson. That's his first, the team's third, and that will send Brandon Bass Jr. to the line, shooting 2. No points in the books yet for the player who is ranked as that one goes in. Now, of course, based on his class year as a sophomore, the numerical rankings only go to the first 10 or 15 in most categories, but he is ranked in the top 21 among all shooting guards nationally, the top 36 among all players of any position in the Southeast, and the top 15 players in all of Florida in any position at the sophomore level for this year. So that comes off of ESPN's prep rankings. So certainly he is one to watch, even though he is still relatively early in his high school career. Obviously, no college commitment yet, and why would he? He's still got this season and 2 more.
Back to the other side now, Windermere Prep with the 2-point lead, looking to get the largest lead of the game. They can't do it. Oak Ridge's defense comes up with the stop. And now the turnover, back the other way. Into the corner. Ford drives the lane and kisses the glass.
Jordan Ford on the layup, making it look easy there.
4-point lead for Windermere Prep. Largest of the game for either team. They've scored 4 in a row. Now Reese, stop, pop, short on the tray. Takes a Windermere Prep bounce to Roca in the corner. And back the other way we come. 10-footer does not drop. Rebound Jones. He goes coast to coast for the slam.
Jameer Jones, coast to coast dunk for 2.
So Jones, a top 13 prospect in 5 different categories. Shows you why there. Now the turnover. Looked like they were playing keep away from Hewen.
Oops.
A little too much alley on that. Oops. But drain the rain.
3 for Cameron Simpsons from Jameer Jones from downtown. And we'll pause. That is not a timeout.
And that was our 14th lead change of the game.
And again, these players clearly practicing for the NBA, because that would have been a 3 with the NBA court markings. And I'm not really sure what happened. I think the officials were trying to pause the game just to wipe up the floor, and the players all interpreted it as a timeout and went to their benches, and now the officials are trying to get them all back out there.
The 2023 Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge, 13th edition. Ball keeps in bound. Nice job by Martis to keep that ball alive. Now Shoptal one-on-one. Windermere Prep rotates it to the right.
Traveling.
Travel.
Pioneers ball.
So Windermere Prep, for all of its sharp shooting, and it's got some nice turnovers, it has not had the best of records so far holding on to the ball. 11 turnovers. Of course, Oak Ridge's defense has had a lot to do with that. Air ball from Simpson. And the defense was in his face, throwing his shot off. 1:23, second quarter. Joe A. Stern Gymnasium, the site on the campus of Apopka High School. Got a packed house tonight, about 500 fans. Again, thank you for joining us the night before Thanksgiving. This is Hewen, the biggest player out there, one-on-one. Gets rid of that ball inside, outside. 1 minute remaining, second quarter. Bass looking for an opening, now slides through the lane. The high pass over to Martis, who floats in the deuce.
Basket by Malachi Martis.
Excellent executed. Back the other way, the turnover, and Jones makes
Jameer Jones on the dunk. 11 points for him tonight.
Jones makes Windermere Prep pay. Half a minute left. Shoptal one-on-one with Reese. Handing off to Martis. The glamour and glitz game of the 2023 Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge has not disappointed. Stars everywhere, and they've come out to play. We've seen turnovers, we've seen three-point shooting, we've seen drives, we've seen slam ducks, and we've seen defense. You name it, we've seen it. Back at the other end, 6 seconds remaining, no dice. Reese picks up the loose ball, 10 feet, turn around.
Second chance basket by Jalen Reese, and that will be the last word of the first half, and it is a 3-point ball game after that final deuce. 31-28 is the score. The Pioneers going into the locker room with the narrow advantage at halftime here in Game 11 of the 2023 Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge, presented by Advent Health, St. Germain Chiropractic, and Burn Fat Orlando. We'd like to thank our friends at Burn Fat Orlando, who invite you to step on the scale with their money-back guarantee. If you don't lose weight in the first 10 days, they will refund your money. Give them a call at 855-889-THIN. That's 855-889-THIN for your chance to take charge of your weight and your life. We also want to thank St. Germain Chiropractic Clinic, offering the best non-invasive health care in the Central Florida area with most insurance accepted. They treat back and neck pain, headaches, auto accidents, slip and fall, and musculoskeletal conditions. Remember, when in pain, call St. Germain. And we want to thank Advent Health, with 8 Central Florida hospitals have been named the best in the Orlando area for 13 years running. At Advent Health, we care for you mind, body, and spirit while you get back to doing what you love with those you love. Visit besthospitalinorlando.com to get started on your journey to wellness. We're going to take a break for about the next 7 minutes. We'll be back here at Joe Sterling Gymnasium for the exciting conclusion of Oak Ridge versus Windermere Prep. Stay with us. Welcome back to Joe Sterling Gymnasium, where we are ready to get going with the second half here. It is the narrowest of leads, and I am told there is a scoring correction. It is, in fact, not 31-28. It is actually 31-27. So we will make that adjustment right now. Of course, I pushed the wrong button, and we'll fix that. Edit second quarter score, make it 16, not 17. I'm going to imagine, Neil, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming this is a 3 that should have been a 2.
I believe that is correct, but I was not privy to the discussion. Nonetheless, as Mark said, it is a 4-point lead for Oak Ridge, and 16 lead changes in that first half, so certainly fans getting their money, the pop and circumstances being lived up to, and they've done it really in 2 different ways when we look at field goal shooting, as the turnover now begins the second half. Windermere Prep shooting only 23 times, 9 of 23, as Hewan unable to get the first shot of the second half to go. At the other end, Jones.
Basket by Jameer Jones to open up second half scoring.
So 9 of 23, a little bit below average, as the ball does not drop. That tray from Ford, and after a lot of hands, it comes down to Oak Ridge. But when you look at the other side, which is Oak Ridge, we're going to get a foul. Oak Ridge shooting 12 of 35.
Foul called against Lakers, number 23, Samuel Shoptaw. That's his second, the team's first. Let's clear out those team fouls as well from the first half. That is, in fact, just the first.
So Oak Ridge, or Windermere Prep, again, 9 of 23. That's around 40%, compared to Oak Ridge, 12 of 35. That's about 33%. They're shooting, I'd say, clearly, maybe not significantly, but clearly a higher percentage. Again, about 40, maybe 41 or 42 compared to 33.
Beautiful work there by Jordan Tillery, forcing that to go off of the Lakers and give the Pioneers an opportunity to get an extra possession here.
But on the other hand, Oak Ridge with the 35 to 23 advantage in attempts taken, as Hewan gets the block but can't stop the second.
Putback made by Jameer Jones. 15 points in the books for him tonight, and now just as quickly we're in transition going the other way, and the Lakers keep it under their possession.
So now Oak Ridge, they had a 4-point lead at halftime. Correction, one of the points was taken off the board. Originally was 3 going into half. And now Oak Ridge getting some separation. Chance to further increase that separation as Shoptaw's attempt does not go. And the alley-oop, the rebound, the Windex work from Jameer Jones.
Second chance dunk from Jameer Jones. Timeout. Full timeout called by the Lakers.
And boy, that looked like it might have been an intentional off the backboard alley-oop. That's why I said that. Nonetheless, some separation now. A 37-27 10-point lead for Oak Ridge, as they have scored the first 6 points to start the second half. 2023 Metro versus Florida Challenge, honoring the life and legacy of Coach Earl Graham.
We'd like to thank some of our other partners who helped to make the Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge possible, including Excel Speed Training. Coach Lowood offers training in all sports for speed, agility, and fitness, with 2 days a week offered at 3 different sites. You can easily find a program that works for you at excelspeed.com.
Six points, the largest lead for either team. 16 lead changes in the first half. Certainly the play so far living up to the glamour and glitz, pomps and circumstance associated with this game. This was the game that when Coach Williams released the schedule, everyone circled. About 500 fans have ventured out to Joe A. Sterling Gymnasium on the campus of Apopka High School. Night before Thanksgiving, we thank them We thank you for tuning in.
10 seconds in the backcourt. Pioneers ball.
Again, 16 lead changes in that first half as Windermere Prep went toe-to-toe, punch for punch. But now Oak Ridge starting to enforce its will, scoring the first 6 points, a couple of turnovers, and now they could get that lead up to 8 or even 9. Minute and a half in the second quarter. 6 points right now, largest of the game. The stop back and forth by Johnson. And possession will remain with Oak Ridge. Of course, Oak Ridge, the 2014 state champions. They've made several trips in that time span to the state Final Four, aka Lakeland, including last season. Windermere Prep, the same record in Class 3A. They are the state runner-up from last season.
Foul is called against Lakers number 32, Sinan Juan. His second, the team's second of this period. That will send the Pioneers to the line. Jameer Jones shooting 2.
So also want to mention, talked about field goal percentage. Again, Oak Ridge a 35-23 advantage in that first half, and that's why they had the lead. Going with bulk shooting. They actually shot under, their percentage was actually lower than Windermere Prep's, but they got the 12 more. But also bring up the free throws, 3 of 4 from the line for Oak Ridge, 5 of 5 for Windermere Prep. So that's also a 2-point differential. Not much, but in a game with 16 lead changes, that does come up big as Sinoon picks up the loose ball, turns around, and floats in the
Sinan Juan for 2. And stuffed at the other end. He teleported to the opposite baseline and blocked the shot by Jameer Jones.
Back to the top of the key. Tillery will reset the offense. Now Jones, one-on-one, gives it back to Tillery. Drives that left lane, the attack. Air ball, ran into 3 defenders. And not only did they stop the ball, the defenders, but they get the ball possession back. So now full court, man-to-man by Oak Ridge. Windermere Prep needs to stop the bleeding. They're down by 10. It was 4 at halftime. And Hunan with the Hewitt.
Sinan Juan on that dunk.
The stop and go move. Got the defense to overcommit. At the other end, no dice on the trade. Beautiful rebounding by Jones. Textbook execution. And Oak Ridge goes back to work.
And again, that dunk by Juan, he's able to use physics to his advantage there with 7 feet on him. He can make that dunk from standing stone cold still under the basket. Most players who are going to make that play have to be attacking it from the front. Now he gets foul called against him. That's foul is called against Sinan Juan. That's his third and the team's third.
5:03, third quarter, 8-point lead for Oak Ridge. They've led throughout the second half. And Coach Hoff giving our refs an earful.
Foul called against Lakers number 2, Jordan Ford. That's his third personal foul, the team's 4th. So now we'll be entering the penalty situation on the next one. Pioneers in trouble. They managed to bail themselves out.
Tillery with the save, and he resets the offense. And he'll get a foul, draws the foul in the process.
Foul called against number 3, Gustavo Roca. That's his second, the team's 5th. Penalty situation at the line, shooting 2, Jordan Tillery.
So Oak Ridge, 3rd and 4th free throws of this quarter. It'll be their 7th and 8th in total. So they've gone ahead in that department as well. Again, rule change from the FHSAA. No longer 7 fouls per half. For the bonus, it's now 5 fouls per period. And it's 2 free throws instead of 1 and 1. 2 of 2 from the line.
And Tillery gets his first points of the game there. That's actually really surprising. We haven't seen more scoring action from him. Of course, he's got a lot of friends to share the load.
Yeah, the University of Vermont commit, 6'5" sophomore. Stripped away, right place, right time, and the bank from Bass.
Brandon Bass for 2.
So there's where executing comes in. That's the other way. Jones, a couple of spin moves, can't get it. One-on-one with Bass, throws his angle off. Bass at the other end, his angle off on the tray, and Reese runs down the loose ball.
Little bunny layup from Jameer Jones. So he can do the hard dunks. He can do the soft layups.
Lead back up to 10. 3:53 remaining, third quarter. Into the corner, the shot, no dice, and perfect positioning is Reese. Back at the other end we go. And Oak Ridge draws the foul. Really feels like Windermere Prep is losing steam.
Foul is called against Lakers number 23, Samuel Shoptaw, his third. That was on the floor, but it doesn't matter because we have a penalty situation. So going to the line, shooting 2 for the Pioneers will be number 1, Jameer Jones. .21 points to lead his team. Juan comes back.
4 players on Oak Ridge's roster listed in the ESPN. Their top prospects rankings. 3 and 4 different categories, 1 and 3. And then you have Cameron Simpson, the UCF commit, the D1 Power Conference. As we mentioned at the beginning of the game, stars, stars, stars everywhere you look. And just when you think you're running out of stars, you got some more coming.
Cameron Simpson is called on his second personal foul, the team's first of this period.
So Windermere Prep back to work, 10-point deficit, largest of the game, third time, contact. That was, Mars shakes it off, but basket does not count. Contact was enough to throw off the angle, back at the other way. Score the tray for
That's
Johnson.
Tyler Johnson. And Neil, I did not see arms go up. I think that was a 2.
Was a 2-pointer, yes, I see that.
That's how we got the discrepancy in the second quarter. Double team trap. The Lakers get out of that one. And now some contact.
That was an elbow.
Foul's called against Calvin Liptrot. That's his second. Team second. Lakers keep possession at the opposing baseline. There comes the trap from Moore, one-on-one. Swatting it into the splash zone of the crowd. Now Gustavo Roca will inbound. And that was airmailed with no particular address labeled. And so Cameron Simpson said, well, if you insist.
Oak Ridge with the break, can't convert though. Still a 12-point lead, largest of the game. Much different scenario than the first half when it was 16 lead changes. Back the other way we go. And the slam from Tyler Johnson.
Tyler Johnson on the Pioneer dunk.
Sleight of the hand from Oak Ridge. And now an easy deuce. Slam at the other end from Brandon Bass. Windermere Prep clears the defenders.
Brandon Bass on the dunk, and we'll pause for a timeout. "30-second timeout requested by the Lakers."
So certainly a good sign for Windermere Prep, getting that slam, getting some momentum, getting their fans excited. But Oak Ridge still with a 12-point lead, 6-0 run to begin the second half, and they built on that run.
We'll take this chance to thank our friends at Winter Park Driving Academy, proud sponsors of this year's Metro versus Florida Challenge. Winter Park Driving Academy is dedicated to serving the greater Orlando area and its mission to train student drivers in essential defensive driving techniques. And not only will they schedule lessons for you, they can also take care of your road tests. They have certified examiners on staff there who can save you a trip to the DMV. Visit their website at wpdriving.com to schedule your lessons and road tests with their experienced and professional staff today.
And back to live action. Again, the game has taken a turn for in Oak Ridge's favor. Much different scenario and feel. 16 lead changes in that first half. A 4-point lead by Oak Ridge at halftime. 6 points starting the second half, and has now grown to 12. Windermere Prep getting the slam on the last possession before the break to cut that lead down to 12.
Foul is called against number 32, Sinan Juan.
And Hewen is also limping, so
it's his fourth personal foul, the team's fifth, and Torrance Moore will shoot 2.
And Coach Hoff, I look over to my right, he disagrees with that call. He was asking the ref why a foul, and now Hewen is limping.
Yeah, so he's going to come off for a couple of reasons. First of all, I don't think he's seriously injured, but he is shaken up after that play. And second of all, it's also his fourth foul, so he's going to lose a few minutes from this game on account of that.
Lead up to 14 now. And you really get the feeling.
Picked off mid-court by Torrance Moore.
And you get the feeling Windermere Prep is losing steam here in this third quarter. And I got to admit, certainly a surprise.
Basket from Cameron Simpson.
Nice soft touch from the UCF signee. And now that pressure continues to haunt Windermere Prep. A whistle and timeout. Windermere Prep having to call timeout as Martis hit the deck with the ball.
Full timeout called by the Lakers. Their penultimate timeout. That leaves the Lakers with one timeout remaining, and Oak Ridge has not yet touched their allotment.
So a 6-point lead. A 6-0 run to start the second half. Certainly as good a start as Oak Ridge can hope for, but they didn't rest on their laurels, and they've extended that lead all the way to 16. The Glamour-Blitz matchup is deteriorating, and Oak Ridge cannot be happy about that. This is the 2023 Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge.
Take this opportunity to thank a few of our other sponsors who helped to make the Metro versus Florida Challenge possible, including Apopka Commissioner Kyle Becker, proud supporter of Blue Darter Athletics and the Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge, Williams Construction and Development, dedicated professionals, superior craftsmanship, and better building materials, Core Construction, where operational excellence is the core standard, and Mo Money.
So as we said right before that break, a 16-point lead for Oak Ridge. And that will certainly help Windermere Prep. It's not going to be a basket. It looked like it was going to be, but the ball had other ideas. Martis will head to the free throw line nonetheless.
Foul called against number 5, Calvin Liptrop. That's his third, the team's third of this period. And that will send Malachi Martis to the line, shooting 2.
Windermere Prep needing points. Down by 4. The lead has grown to 16 in this third quarter. And free throws has been a significant reason. Oak Ridge going to the line 8 times. Those were the first 2-point free throws attempted by Windermere Prep. And just
layup by Torton Tillery. That's his first field goal of the game. He has a couple of free throws. And now the double team at half court. doesn't directly get the steal, but does
Residual.
cause an errant pass toward Malachi Martis, and it's a turnover.
Residual turnover. And that's 6 turnovers in this period for the usually sure-handed Windermere Prep. Off the side of the rim. Somebody grabbed it. Getting the rebound, though, is Tyler Johnson.
Second chance basket for the Pioneers by Johnson.
37.6 seconds remaining. Third quarter. Both teams in the bonus.
And that didn't touch anybody. Timeout, Pioneers. 30-second timeout. So the Pioneers haven't used any timeouts left yet, and even though there's only 37 seconds till they're going to get a timeout anyway, I think they've decided that they want to end the quarter decisively in their favor, and they want to draw up a very specific play to end the period. So since they've got the timeouts to spend, they're going to go ahead and use them. We'd like to remind everyone that we still have one more game to go here before we call it a night on day 2 of the Metro versus Florida Challenge. And that upcoming game is going to be the Wekiva Mustangs taking on the Eustis Panthers. That's a 7:45 scheduled start time. Obviously, that seems unlikely, but we'll get it going about 10 minutes after the conclusion of this game. Then we've got 7 more games Friday, 7 more games Saturday, and you can get that complete schedule with our free online program at metrovsfl.com.
So what was a close game, a barn burner, as Keith Jackson, the great late play-by-play man, would like to say. 16 lead changes in that first half.
24-9 since halftime in favor of Oak Ridge.
Yeah,
so it comes down to stamina.
And they had the 4-point lead at halftime. So you could actually say 33-point lead with about a minute remaining in the first half. To the left, picking up his own rebound is Simpson. Drives, can't get the second attempt. And jump ball.
No, they're going to call a hold.
Oh, a hold.
And it's going to cause free throws. Fouls called against Pioneers number 3, Tyler Johnson. That's his 4th personal foul, the team's 5th. And that will trigger the penalty situation in favor of the Lakers. Headed to the free throw line, number 2, Jordan Ford. So that's important for a couple of reasons. First of all, it gives Windermere Prep the opportunity to put a few free throws up before the end of that period. Second of all, 4th foul in the books for Tyler Johnson, which is not exactly what they need.
It also stops the clock, too, at 25.7 seconds. So I know we're only in the third quarter, but you're looking at an 18-point lead. So right now, that clock is just as important.
I don't know what Coach Reese was asking for during the timeout, but I don't think that was it. Now swatted away by Bass, and Martis picks it up. One good turnover deserves another, though. We're coming back the other way. And no, he will not take it himself. Tyler Johnson instead goes out to the corner. And now there's an even better looking layup. That is Jordan Tillery getting the last word of the third period. And that was a 26-11 period for the Pioneers. They now take a lead of 57-38 going into the final 8 minutes of Game 11 here at the 13th annual Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge. We'll take this opportunity to remind you that we have lots more action coming up. If you haven't already done so, regardless of whether you're here in the arena or whether you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you'll know when we go live, and you'll get a direct link that you can sign in and watch the broadcast. We also encourage you to visit metrovsfl.com, where we have our complete schedule as well as a free full-color downloadable program. A few years ago, we went green and we stopped printing those programs. However, we do still make them, and they are available for you to download for free using your smart device. We have the QR code posted at the admission table, or you can just go to metrovsfl.com and click on the download PDF program link, and we will get you that full color program that has a complete schedule, rosters, team previews, history of the event, and more. Again, MetroVSFL.com for your free full-color downloadable program. And you can also actually download the last 10 years worth of programs. So you can go all the way back to the third annual Metro versus Florida Challenge. We keep those archives posted as we build up the history of this event from year to year.
And we begin the fourth quarter. What was a back and forth living up to the glamour and glitz, pomp and circumstances preview. 16 lead changes has turned into a dominant, commanding performance by the Oak Ridge Pioneers. The 19-point lead, 57-38. Look at any number of stats as the reason why. Free throws, turnovers, offensive rebounding, and certainly the best possible start Windermere Prep could ask for in the fourth quarter. Lead back down to 17. 7-2 lead for the Florida contingency. 8-2 lead. And now opportunity for Windermere Prep, where it would be quite some time, I think at least 4 minutes, to go back-to-back points. And that quickly
basket by Jordan Tillery on the stolen dunk. And this is a team that if you let them have an unopposed attempt at the basket, not only are they going to take it, they're going to take it with style. 3 for Brandon Bass. 9 points for him tonight, and I should say only 9 points for him tonight. That's actually kind of low by the time we get to the fourth quarter by his standards. Foul is called against number 2, Jordan Ford. That's his fourth personal foul, the first of the period, and that will send Oak Ridge to the line. Jameer Jones shooting 2.
16-point lead now, so Windermere Prep making some headway. And they'll catch a break there. So mentioned turnovers as one of the catalysts for turning a 4-point lead into 20-plus for a significant portion of that third quarter. And now that is 8 turnovers in the second half for Windermere Prep. And Oak Ridge keeping that full court trap. That was the strategic move, which was the catalyst for this change of fortune. Did not work there. As
3 for Brandon Bass, who apparently heard me talking about the fact that his point total was low. And now the Pioneers with an uncommon mistake.
A couple of uncommon mistakes. And a chance for Windermere Prep to cut that lead back down to 12 or even 11. 12-20. It's 19 at the end of the third quarter. So I'm Neil Fisher. The other voice here is Mark Barchi. They were not on that one. Brass swooping through the lane. Over the shoulder move, does not drop. At the other end, Johnson unable to connect on his drive. And back and forth we go.
Foul's called against Jameer Jones. That's his first personal foul. Team's first of the period. Checking into the game for Oak Ridge, number 11, Cameron Simpson. If you can believe it, Jameer Jones has gone the entire game without getting a foul until now. He does have 22 points, though. He's unsurprisingly the obvious choice for MVP. Most people probably could have told you that before the game started. Now we got a traveling call, so turnovers continue to plague the Lakers as we dip under 6 minutes to go here in the fourth.
Got 10 turnovers in the second half. 5:45 as Mark mentioned. Windermere stays in the man-to-man. Spin, making the withdrawal from the bench.
Tyler Johnson and one. Foul is called against Lakers number 4, Malachi Martis. That's his first, the team's second. And count the three-point play. 11 points in the books now for Johnson. And the Lakers go back to work.
17-point lead. And swooping through that lane, Martis had some trouble at the end. Not able to catch rim at the other end. It's coast to coast.
Tyler Johnson, coast to coast for a Pioneer dunk. And now, one good deserves another. Coast to coast layup by Samuel Shoptaw.
Still a 17-point lead for Oak Ridge.
I think that's the first time this half I've seen the defense completely collapse on both sides of the ball in back-to-back possessions. And now twice in a row, that's Samuel Shoptaw with another layup. It's actually exactly the same play we saw in the previous possession. The Pioneers, I think, may start getting tired as they're not getting back with the speed that they had in the previous periods. I mean, they've got 15 points of leeway as we get an official stoppage here. Looked like one of the players may have had, I don't know, either blood on his jersey or an injury or something like that. But in any case, again, the Pioneers have 15 minutes of cushion here with 4.5 minutes remaining. So the game by no means out of reach for the Lakers, but Pioneers, like I said, a little slow. Not this possession, though. There's the dunk. Jameer Jones on the dunk. 24 points for him.
11 turnovers now in this half. Make that 12 just as quickly. At the other end, in the corner, Oak Ridge bench rises, rims in and out, and boy, that bench would have exploded if that ball had found the range. It would have been a proverbial nail in the coffin to Windermere Prep, too. Instead, it's Windermere Prep.
3 for Devin Demadia. And that one won't fall, so the Lakers have a chance to put together a couple of unanswered baskets here. For what it's worth, we actually are 15-10, make it 18-10. Jordan Ford for 3 in the Lakers' favor since we came back from the quarter. Now finally an answer as we get a layup from Jalen Reese. And he'll take the punishment for it too as he goes to the ground afterward. Stop, pop, short. But Lakers managed to keep it in control, and it touches the backboard equipment. That's the same as out of bounds. So we'll see whether it's too little too late, but things starting to look up for the Lakers here in the fourth period. Again, even after that last layup on the Pioneer side, it's still an 18-12 advantage since coming back from the quarter break. But again, right now, Oak Ridge has that cushion that they built up in the third period. So they've got 13 points to work with, and the clock is their friend.
As we now move to 3 minutes. Ball does not go, but right place, right time.
Jameer Jones gets his own putback. 26 for him now.
So give Jones credit. He went back to where the ball came off the rim and got that easy basket. And another turnover.
Knock, knock, who's there? Nobody.
Not the Lakers.
Yeah, Brandon Bass zigged when he should have zagged. That's like almost in a football play where the receiver does not run the route that you expected.
So again, both these teams, every year they have expectations of long runs into the postseason. Windermere Prep 24-8. They were actually a state finalist last year.
Stolen by Gustavo Roca.
Losing to Rivera in Class 3A final.
Basket picked up by Shoptaw, who has 19 tonight. He's definitely putting in the work for Windermere Prep, but now Tyler Johnson answers down the baseline for the Pioneers. Full court pressure coming on from Oak Ridge, and it pays off. Johnson gets the steal, the pass, the other pass, and it's in. Jordan Tillery to Cameron Simpson.
So I noticed, Mark, Oak Ridge expected a dunk. The bench started rising. They didn't get the dunk.
That's good selfless play on that last possession. I mean, you would expect a team that's up as they are to go for the razzle-dazzle on that, to try to get a rise out of the crowd, but no, instead they take the unselfish route, and it pays off. Now they've...
Yeah, and my point, Mark, was that you could feel the energy drop when they realized it wasn't going to be a dunk, but they immediately got that energy back up once they got the basket because they realized it was a good team play.
And now we're looking for a towel. Is that what we're doing? Yes, we're looking for a towel. But yeah, now not only do the Pioneers have an opportunity, barring a significant change in momentum, to win here, they could go down in the top performances of all time in Metro versus Florida Challenge history. They've eclipsed 75 points, and with 2 minutes still left on the clock, if they don't turn down the pressure, you could easily imagine this getting into the 80s and approaching 90 by the time we get to the end of this one.
Yeah, now Seminole against Jones, that was the third game of the day. They put up 85. They are a top 10. So we could see 2 top 10 performances in scoring, team scoring, in one day.
Tyler Johnson from Jameer Jones on the dunk. 17 points for him. And here comes another opportunity, but we're going to get a foul.
Yeah, and this will also close the gap in the overall tote board, as you like to say, Mark, 7-4, or 8-4. Excuse me, 8-3.
Fouls called against Lakers, number 23. That's Samuel Shoptaw's 4th personal foul, the team's 3rd. And that is significant because Samuel Shoptaw owns 19 of those 58 points on the board. Brandon Bass Jr., the only other player in double figures. So if Samuel Shoptaw fouls out of the game, that's probably lights out. I mean, it already is a tall order, trailing 19 with 97 seconds left. You don't want to declare the game over before it's over, but this is an increasingly difficult proposition for the Lakers, and if Shoptaw goes down, then I think you can go ahead and call that. Got a 30-second timeout requested by Oak Ridge. 30-second timeout leading 77-58 with 96 seconds left in the game.
And so, Mark, since you brought up the team scores, at 77 puts them at about 25. If they can get both these free throws, that will put them at number 20, around top 20. There's 5 other teams that have scored 79, and you get into that 80 range, you're in the top 17, 18.
So certainly,
and again, that would be the second time today that we've seen the 80-point mark break. Seminole dropping 86 against Jones.
And although I would argue that the 86 against Jones is not quite the same as the potentially 80 here against Windermere Prep.
It was a running clock.
Yeah, these are hard-earned points, and again, Windermere Prep looks great out there. I mean, just
for the first half, 16 lead changes.
Yeah, they just ran out of gas in the third quarter, and in any other game, they probably have enough in the tank, but against the Pioneers, you got to keep the pedal down the whole time. There's Jameer Jones, 2 more.
Yeah,
he's trying to get to 30.
And Oak Ridge ain't letting up on the accelerator. They stay in that full court trap. As we hit 1 minute now. And the clock will stop with that foul. One last game after this one, starting about 20 minutes after the conclusion. Of course, that will be the Wekiva Mustangs representing the Metro Conference, taking on the Eustis Panthers representing the Florida contingency. Of course, Mark and I, the in-house broadcast team for the Wekiva Mustangs.
Dunked by Brandon Bass Jr.
And so now we'll see if Oak Ridge can top the 80-point mark. And yes, the scoop and the floating deuce.
Basket by Jalen Reese.
So now you're in 81 points. And both these teams are moving that ball up and down the court quickly.
Basket by Samuel Shoptaw, who eclipses 20 himself. So whatever you say about the final score, Shoptaw has had a great game. And now Jameer Jones is fouled on the way up. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. The foul is called against Samuel Shoptaw. That's his 5th personal foul, and he will retire from the game with 21 points, leading the Lakers.
Right now, Oak Ridge is tied for 21st all time. They are now tied.
And now I think Jameer Jones here is trying to get to 30, and he does. So that's going to go down as an individual all-time performance. I don't have it in front of me, but it's probably top 10 or 15 with a 30-point individual night.
15th in all-time in the team score, and this should be an easy 2. So now at
basket
85.
for the Pioneers by Jalen Reese. 15 for him, and a foul. It was actually a pretty good move there by Jameer Jones, but he didn't quite get all ball.
So story of this game, once again, it was a game you circled when Scott Williams released the calendar, started off, glamour and glitz, pomp and circumstances, 16 lead changes in that first half, and to sum it up as concisely as possible, Windermere Prep ran out of steam, wilting under the full court trap of Oak Ridge, committing 15 turnovers in that second half. And we're going to have a timeout, I believe.
No, they're just saying the clock didn't start when it was inbounded, so that's
15,
the game.
15 turnovers in that second half, and Oak Ridge runs away, putting one basket after another off the turnovers, an 85-63 point, and that 85 points is the 11th highest in the history of this event for the team.
That takes us to the end of the ball game. 85-63, the final score. The Pioneers delivering with 3 players in double figures. Jalen Reese had 15, Tyler Johnson had 17, but we have one player who goes into the Metro versus Florida Challenge, not just MVP for this game, but it is a Hall of Fame performance for the lifetime of the event with 30 points for the Pioneers. We'll invite the Graham family out to present your MVP award for Game 11 to number 1, Jameer Jones. And Jameer, if you could come on out, we will have some hardware to present for you. Well, we've misplaced Jameer Jones, but in any case, he had 30 points, and he will be your MVP, not just your MVP for this game, but a Hall of Fame performance for the Metro versus Florida Challenge. Want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. Thanks for being here at Joe Sterling Gymnasium or for tuning in on YouTube. Don't go anywhere, though. We've got one more for you. If you're watching online, we are going to ask you to get out of this live stream and then join us on the next one. We've got Wekiva versus Eustis to wrap up the night here on day 2 of the 13th annual Earl Graham Metro versus Florida Challenge, presented by Advent Health, St. Germain Chiropractic, and Burn Fat Orlando. Back with more from Joe Sterling Gymnasium in just a few minutes. Give us about 10 minutes to switch over, and we'll meet you there.